What's up, Internet? We're here very soon after our last review for another review.
Yeah, it's almost like we're kind of getting on a schedule again.
It's almost like we're doing a sequel to the last review. Sinister 2 is a film directed by Ciaran Foy, spelling right here.
Not Scott Derrickson.
Not Scott Derrickson.
Who directed other movies, though I don't know what they are.
And it really shows. Sinister 2 revolves around a mother and her two sons who flee out to a house.
And Deputy So-and-so. Most importantly, Deputy So-and-so.
Who flee out to a house in the country from her abusive husband, ex-husband, whatever. And the house they move into is a former Bagul house. Uh-oh. Hijinks ensue. This movie, I haven't seen this since I saw it in theaters, mind you, and I remember thinking it was pretty decent back then. I think I was blinded by my nice little Bagul glasses.
Yeah, me too, to be entirely honest. I saw this movie 2 or 3 times in theaters.
I didn't remember a lot of it, and what the stuff that I remember being better wasn't.
And the stuff that I remember being not as good is worse.
Yeah, it was, this movie isn't nearly as good as I had initially thought it was. It's a huge step down from Scott Derrickson's work in the first movie, and it really shows that he was not involved in this film at all.
It shows the importance of a good director.
Absolutely. So we're just gonna get right into it.
I mean, so-and-so was great.
He's good because it's the same actor returning. I can't think of his name for the life of me, and I'm sorry. I'll put it up in here somewhere. He's probably the best part of the movie because his character is...
He makes this movie. This would be a much worse movie without him.
I agree, and his character is it does justice to his character from the first movie. He's still the same lovable idiot that he was in the first film, and I think that really he adds a level of likability to this movie. The mom, she's okay.
Yeah, she doesn't stand out in any way, but she's not bad either.
Yeah, she's alright. I mean, and then
she was good.
Getting into the more negative aspects, the 2 kids and all the ghost kids, Jesus Christ, child actors.
No, some of it wasn't terrible. Like, the kid who played Milo wasn't bad, and...
He's arguably the oldest one there,
yeah,
so that's the only...
Zach has his moments. I think his name was Zach.
The insufferable douchebag kid, you mean?
Yeah, that
the one who is only written to be an insufferable douchebag. And then let's not forget the cardboard cutout of an abusive father who is...
I'll be the villain for your movie,
I'll be here to be your secondary antagonist. Hey guys, I'm here to introduce some conflicts to the third act. Yeah, not good. Not good writing, not good acting.
I beat my wife because I want to, and I am rich and powerful, so you can't do anything about it.
Literally that. Even in terms of direction and the more technical aspects of it, I really think this film just fails on all counts.
I think if Scott Derrickson had returned to this movie, I think it would have made a world of difference.
Oh, absolutely, because he knows how to build something called tone. I feel that
it's like
this movie tried so hard to capitalize on everything that made the first Sinister good. The kill tapes, the weird ambient music, the fucking...
Although the weird ambient music in this one was nowhere near as good.
Neither are the kill tapes, neither is the atmosphere.
Well, there are a couple of kill tapes that would have fit right in the first movie.
Maybe, yeah, I guess.
I mean, and then there's ones that we'll get into later,
yeah.
but a couple of them would have fit.
I don't know. Overall, it feels like Sinister Light. It's Diet Sinister, essentially. This movie isn't garbage. It has certain good things in it, but overall, it's so watered down by things that are generic horror tropes.
That's what I'm saying, though. It almost feels like it was made by an entirely different studio, an entirely different everything.
Yeah.
It feels like nobody from the original worked on this movie.
Yeah, no, that's really, really perfect. It's like I said, they try and take things that they know people liked about the first Sinister. Oh, the first Sinister had kill tapes with weird ambient tracks. Let's include that, but let's make the kill tapes really fucking preposterous, and then make the ambient tracks have a vinyl record player that goes with the projector.
For an unnecessary reason.
Yeah,
what the fuck? No, but I don't think anybody's complaint after watching Sinister 1 was, that was a great movie, but where did the music come from in those kill tapes?
Exactly.
My immersion is ruined.
Oh, the first Sinister had Boards of Canada? People like that? Let's put Boards of Canada in the middle of a fucking scene where it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
This movie...
The first Sinister had Professor Jonas, an expert on Bagul. Let's bring back someone else who is an expert on Bagul.
A character who, mind you, in his first scene is introduced as the new Professor Jonas. Actual quotes. Jump scares galore. So many jump scares. So many telegraphed, cheap jump scares that weren't in the first movie.
Yeah. Once again, it shows that Derrickson did not direct this movie.
It doesn't rely on atmosphere at all, and that's my problem with it. It takes everything that was good about the first Sinister and waters it down to an insulting level.
Although, there is one thing they added to this movie that I like a lot.
The backstory to Bagul?
Yes, with the number stations and...
So if we're actually speaking about positive things about the movie, the adding some more like lore to the whole Bagul story I think is really cool. There's a really cool thing they did with number stations and like the whole idea behind the Bagul kill pattern.
Also, if you don't know what number stations are, just pause this video, go Google that. It's like some of the coolest shit ever.
They're really creepy and cool.
Yeah, it's like my favorite late night Wikipedia page to visit. Just trust me, it's fun as hell.
No, they're very interesting. That aspect of it I liked, but when it comes to the actual like execution of all of it, it just falls flat. And I think that it's an unfortunate way to follow the first film, which was so strong.
It's not that this movie is bad. It's that compared to the first movie, it's bad.
Exactly. That's pretty much
as a predecessor. I mean, as a as a successor to the first movie, it's almost insulting.
This movie isn't scary. It's not disturbing. It's not really...
I mean, there's one scene that's arguably disturbing, the Black Mass scene.
I guess. There's some kill tapes that are kind of disturbing, but overall, when you compare it to the first film, this movie is nothing compared to it. The fact that it carries the Sinister name is somewhat insulting. I'm going to ask you this question this time, since you asked me it last time. Favorite kill tape and least favorite kill tape?
Okay, I'll go with least favorite first, and I think we agree on this.
We do.
The fucking alligators.
I'm going to sum this up for you who haven't seen this movie and don't want to. The family is suspended upside down with bags over their head over a lake, and an alligator jumps out and bites their heads off one by one.
Oh, it doesn't bite their heads off. It just kind of clamps onto them and shakes around.
Like an alligator does.
But it's like a CG alligator, and it's just kind of a preposterous scenario. Like,
how did a child hoist his family over a lake like that? I'm going to agree with him on the least favorite one, because that scene is so ridiculous. There's just no real explanation, or it's just so it's such an absurd.
Toneless too.
It's toneless, and it's just so absurd that it's almost
and even
laughable.
the music going with it is just complete shit.
The music with all the kill tapes is not very good.
Yes, they're compared to the first one, yes, but there are some that are still like, okay, I can see what they were going.
Fair enough, but I just think that
like in my favorite kill tape, which is the one with the snow, Christmas.
That's a very
the
good
music
one.
In that one isn't so
that
bad.
One's actually not so bad. It's weird.
I mean, I think part of it is the fact that
it's sort of distorted, like Christmas.
They initially wanted to include that one in the first movie, I believe.
That'd be cool. I can see that one fitting with the first film.
It's just they didn't have time to make it all fit and work in, so they didn't really put it in.
I do think that one.
It's either that one or the electricity one. I don't remember.
Either one would have fit perfectly.
Yeah.
That one definitely would have fit in the first movie, and that's probably I think that one is probably my favorite of the kill tapes because it's atmospheric and it's creepy and it's kind of horror. It's like horrible in that sense that
Could you imagine?
It's that's a disturbing kill tape that would have fit in with the first film. Totally.
It doesn't show much. It's tonally accurate.
A family being buried alive in snow.
Yeah, like that's
on Christmas morning. That's horrible, and that's great. That's like that's another thing is that this movie takes even where the first one was very tasteful in how it handled gore. This one's not. It's just typical Hollywood horror bullshit. So that's upsetting. What would you give this movie overall? The first one, mind you, from him was an A-. For me, it was a B+.
Somewhere between a C+ and a C.
We're pretty close. I'm going to give Sinister 2 a C-. It's ultimately a cheap attempt to capitalize on everything that made Sinister good, and a really failed attempt at that. It's not well directed. It's not particularly well acted. The story
minus so and so.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I will say, without Deputy So and So, this movie would have been a C-, a D+.
It's just kind of generic horror bullshit.
The biggest mistake they ever could have made was changing directors.
I agree. I completely agree with that. Yeah, it's just this movie is really a huge step down from the first film, and I hope that if there ever is a third one, that Scott Derrickson does come back. So yeah, that's that. Pretty cut and dry review here. We're going to be doing some interesting stuff soon.
Yeah, we're gonna hope to hop on your next
Green Room.
Yeah, Green Room when that comes out. I'm hyped for that.
Hush. I'll probably be doing Hush this week if possible.
Yeah, I might not be there, but I hope I am. I'm hyped for that too.
And yeah, so if you like what you see here, if you like us, if you like our chemistry, like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends so we can get more views.